also includes all operational liabilities. So essentially, the hospital authority will step into the shoes of the foundation on January 1 of this free. One of the changes that you have on the information you have is the addition of all the exhibits. We've had them prepare a full inventory, and we've also got a listing of assumed contracts. Feel pretty comfortable that there is nothing out there that hasn't been either disclosed on their financial statements or in the exhibits or otherwise disclosed. So that is one of the changes. Another change is to clarify that is between the nursing home, which is solvent and doesn't have any operation, any cash flow issues, that to the extent there is excess income from that operation over what's needed for reserves and stuff like that, that it will be applied to assist with the hospital. The funding mechanism in the lease is actually contained in the lease agreement. That lease agreement looks very similar to the lease you had with the foundation. The primary difference is that there is a funding or subsidy mechanism in there whereby the authority can come to the Commissioner's Court with a report of requesting a certain level of subsidy. It has all the background information for it, the justification for the number, and that would be reviewed by the auditor and others to, make sure everything's in line and there's no fluff in it, and it's appropriate to pay it. In the first fiscal year is going to be a partial fiscal year. It would be from January to September. So there may be a need for sort of ununiform requests. The expectation would be that in the future it would be an annual request that would be part of your budgeting process. They would still be required to submit documentation for the use of the money, but it would help you in your budgeting to know what to put in the budget for the year for the potential subsidy. The nursing home lease and transition agreement is essentially the same. Part of for both facilities, the reason that the very exact same lease was not just assumed, that it was assigned and then amended and restated, is because of the need to change certain provisions of it. The funding, the subsidy mechanism, to clarify what the ongoing term is for the hospital authority, to make clear the lines of communication and reporting requirements. The other matter that's not really something that the court will vote on, is something that the authority will address, but is something that I think you need to know about, is what you have. The hospital doesn't employ physicians. It can't directly employ the physicians. The physicians have their own, what we call 501A corporation, that is their own practice group, and they practice at the hospital but aren't under the umbrella of the management of the hospital. Especially in situations like this, the physicians are the lifeblood of your hospital. Even though they're not your employees, if you don't have physicians and specialists and such to practice at your hospital, you don't have a hospital. So there will be a management agreement between the authority and the 501A corporation, whereby there's a lot of facilitation between them as far as the hospital providing some management support services to make it easier for them to practice in this area, gives them some support in advertising and marketing and different things that are for the joint benefit of both parties. But there's also within that a operational support element, whereby in order to keep the practice there, if it comes down to a situation where they are in a negative cash flow situation, the authority can provide support to the group to make sure that it can get through operations during negative cash flow times. That support can be recouped back during positive cash flow times. But it simply is a provision whereby you can be sure that even during downtimes, for example, if you have, there may be significant uncollectibles and stuff to where they're not able to keep the doctors they have. If a doctor is going to make X amount, then they've already sort of decided, well, they've sort of done a trade-off already when they come to a small community. They can make a lot more money somewhere else, but they've made the trade-off based on the quality of life and all that. But if you can't at least pay that trade-off amount, then you're going to lose that position. And so that is part of it also, that is really more under the authority umbrella, but it's just an explanation of how everything's kind of interconnected.
And Mike, that's in place now, is that not?
It's currently in place, but this is I guess we're putting it in a management agreement form, more formalized, and I just think it's something you need to know, kind of to understand how the whole flow goes. Everything has to kind of fit together in order to keep your hospital going, and because your physicians can't really do anything without a hospital, but your hospital can't do anything without physicians either. So the whole process kind of fits together like a big puzzle.
Right now that involves Dr. Hutchison, Dr. Hay, Dr. Burris, not Dr. Burris? Okay.
No, Dr. Peters.
Peters, okay.
Those three.
Those three. I interrupted you, but I will add while I have you interrupted. I'd like to point out that during the life of the previous authority, we've subsidized them by an average of $1.4 million a year. So, I mean, this is not going to be a new issue. While the other authority, I don't know what we subsidized there. It scares me when I hear those stories. But we did subsidize the previous authority by $1.4 million a year. And during the foundation, the life of the foundation, of course, we've not funded them anything except the capital improvement issue the construction project that the Commissioner's Court is doing right now up there.